Hi, my name is Rachel Ramey, and the purpose of this presentation today is to talk about stress management. So, by way of introduction, we're going to briefly talk about what the stress response is and how to eliminate unnecessary stressors. And then we're going to talk about one important principle and 5 strategies for managing stress. So first, let's talk about the stress response. And I like to remember it in this way. When you are stressed, then your body goes through a stress response that has 3 phases: alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. So we have A for alarm, R for resistance, E for exhaustion, so I can remember that little acronym when you are stressed. And let's talk about what those 3 phases are. The alarm phase is when you first begin the stress response, and so this is when it gets you really pumped up. So your muscles are ready to work, and your lungs are working better, and your heart is pumping better, and you're ready to fight, or you're ready to run, or whatever. You're ready to confront that issue. Now, if the stress response continues for a while, then you move into the resistance phase. And in the resistance phase, your body is providing you a more sustained support for confronting whatever it is that you have to confront. So it's not quite the same amped up state. Your body's kind of shifting to being able to use kind of a more sustained fuel and that kind of thing, but it's still in more of a reactionary mode than in just kind of an even-keeled kind of mode. Now, ideally what would happen is that you go into the alarm phase, maybe if necessary you go into the resistance phase, you confront that thing, you get it dealt with, you take care of it, and then your body returns to normal. If that doesn't happen, if you stay in these first 2 stages for too long, then your body eventually goes into the 3rd stage, which is exhaustion. At this point, your body is burned out. It has been running on high volume, everything pumped up, overreaction for so long that it just doesn't even have it in you anymore to continue to produce what you need to produce. And we don't want that. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of that excess stress, and we want to confront the stress that we do have left in a more positive manner so that we can use the alarm and the resistance phases as we need to in a positive way to help us out, and then we can get that thing taken care of and we can just return to balanced. So in order to not overlook the obvious here, let's first talk about eliminating unnecessary stressors. This probably should be completely obvious, but sometimes, especially when things are getting a little bit crazy, then we tend to overlook the obvious. So first, how about if we just get rid of any stress we don't have to have? This is where we want to look at the shoulds and the oughts. Why are you doing this thing? Is it really because it's something that has to be taken care of? Is it really because it's something that you have to be the one to take care of? Or is it because you feel like, well, I should do this. I ought to do this. If you've got something that's really weighing on you, that's really freaking you out, can you eliminate it? If that calculus class is really just driving you crazy, you don't get it, you've asked all the questions you can think of to ask, and you still are just scrambling and struggling to not fail your tests, and the calculus class isn't needed for whatever it is you're trying to do for your degree or diploma or whatever, drop the class. There's no need to drive yourself crazy over nothing. But sometimes we have stuff that's stressing us out that we can't just get rid of. If it's not something you can eliminate, can you reduce it? For instance, I don't know about you other moms out there, but my children can be a stressor for me. I don't really consider it a viable option to get rid of my children. However, I could hire a babysitter, enroll them in a class, enroll me in a class, something like that to give myself a break and reduce that stressor on me. Just, not get rid of it out of my life completely, but to minimize its impact. So now that we have gotten rid of all of the stress we don't have to have, let's talk about some ways that we can deal with the stress that we can't just get rid of. We're going to talk about one really important key principle and 5 different strategies. Our key principle here is it has to be personal. We don't all respond to stress in the same way. Our bodies all handle stress in the same way, but we don't all find the same things stressful. For instance, if I were to tell you, next week you have to go to this huge conference with thousands of people, some of you are going to be totally freaking out. Oh my gosh, I have to be around all of those people. I don't even want to think about walking in the door. It's going to be so overwhelming. And some of you are going to be thinking, cool, I get to meet thousands of people. I get to make a bunch of new friends. So what we find stressful is not the same from person to person. And likewise, what we find calming or comforting is not the same for everybody. For instance, a very commonly recommended tool for managing stress is to take a nice, long, relaxing, warm bath. I hate baths. They make me tense. They stress me out. So obviously for me, that's not going to be a good approach for managing stress. On the other hand, I've learned that I really like a foot bath. So for me, I'm not going to have to take a bath in my stress management arsenal. But enjoying a foot bath for a little while to relax might be beneficial for me. So as we go through the 5 strategies that we're going to talk about in just a moment, I want you to think through how you work, how you operate, what's stressful to you, what's comforting to you, what's calming and relaxing to you, and make sure that you choose the strategies that are going to work for you. If something is quote-unquote supposed to be relaxing, but it's not relaxing for you, that's fine. Don't feel like there's something wrong with you because that's the case. On the other hand, if there's something that's a really great stress management tool for you that's kind of off the beaten path, go with it. Whatever works for you is what you want to keep in your stress management arsenal. Okay, so strategy number 1 is to call on the relaxation response. And let's get a little bit technical here. Your nervous system has 2 major parts or phases. We call it the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. And although those are kind of fancy names, really they just are kind of like one is when something is switched on and the other one is switched off. They kind of work opposite each other. So the way that I can remember it is the sympathetic nervous system is what kicks in when you're stressed because it's sympathetic to your plight. And that's what causes you to go into that pumped up phase. So, your breathing is faster so that you can get more breath, more oxygen to your body so that you can run and that kind of thing. Your heart's beating faster and that kind of thing. And the parasympathetic nervous system would be the exact opposite. That's what kicks in when you're calm and relaxed and breathing slowly and deeply. And the really interesting thing about these 2 phases of your nervous system is that not only are certain outworkings of them caused to happen when you're stressed versus when you're not stressed, but actually mimicking those responses can cause your body to go into those phases. So for instance, when you're stressed and you're really worked up, then normally an effect of that would be that your breathing would become fast and shallow. Well, breathing quickly and shallowly can also create that same response. Likewise, when you're calm and you're relaxed, your breathing is slow and it's deep. And at the same time, breathing slowly and deeply can cause your body to go into that relaxation mode. So when people tell you, calm down, take a few deep breaths, that's not just something that people say. Taking a few slow, deep breaths and consciously trying to slow your breathing down can actually physically cause your body to go into that relaxation response. And the great thing about deep breathing is that it doesn't cost anything. You can do it anywhere. It's really quick. It works if you're angry. It works if you're afraid. It works if you're anxious. So just stop for a moment and take a few deep breaths in and out. In and out, and a lot of times that will be enough to just kind of chill out that stress response and cause your body to relax. You can also try calming experiences like that bath that we talked about, or for some of you maybe a massage is calming, or sitting by a brook and listening to the water or something like that. Whatever it is that mimics how you feel when you're relaxed will actually cause you to become relaxed. The idea is that we want to communicate to our bodies, it's okay, I'm safe. so that they know that they don't need to have you in that pumped up mode anymore to be able to confront something. Strategy number 2 is to redirect your thinking. Surprisingly, it has actually been found in studies that even when you're stressed, if you respond to that stress and you view that stress in a positive way, it has a better impact, a more positive impact on your body. So get your thinking positive. You might do that through something like meditation or prayer. It might be something as simple as reframing the stress in your life and the stress response to think about it as something that's helping you rather than something that's hurting you. And sometimes just distracting yourself from it. If you're really worked up because of something that you just keep freaking out over, you're turning it over and over and over and over again in your mind, just think about something else that isn't stressful, and that will help. Strategy number 3 is to get moving. Remember we talked about that the purpose of the stress response is to really pump you up and make it easier for you to confront something like you're ready to fight? Well, your body is going to respond more quickly to thinking that it has confronted that thing and finished the task already if you actually physically get moving. Use that extra energy that your body is putting out and put it to work, and then be done with your workout, and your body is going to read that as, hey, cool, we already took care of this thing, now we can get back to normal. So that may be something really energetic that you would think of as the kind of thing that people do, like when they're angry, like maybe you're going for a run or kickboxing or something really aggressive like that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be something like swimming or dancing. It could be something like yoga. Maybe your body, for some of you who might be chronically ill or something like that, maybe kickboxing is a little too much for you to handle, but yoga is a little bit slower and calmer and easier on the body, but it still gets you moving. Or something like hiking. Especially if you go hiking out in the woods or on a trail or something like that, you have the added advantage of being in the outdoors and the fresh air and the sunshine and smelling all of those essential oils that are coming off of the plants around you and so forth. Those are good for your body as well and can be an extra boost in trying to restore back to normal from that stress response. Strategy number 4 is play. All work and no play is really not a healthy approach to life. Enjoy yourself. Make sure that you're taking some time out of your busyness of your life to do things that you just enjoy for enjoyment's sake. There's been some study that's done on play, and I don't know that anybody has really directly connected it to stress, but the benefits that have been observed from play are very similar to the benefits that we see when stress is studied, and when you're looking at a positive approach to stress that helps the body to do well, and social scenarios and so forth that we've seen decrease stress. So there's really a lot of patterning between play and the benefits that it has for your health, psychologically and physically, and just all around benefits to your health. There's a real parallel between that and what we see in people who are not under a lot of stress. So if you're doing some things throughout your life to just enjoy yourself, you're going to find that you're feeling a lot less stress. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. I mean, if you enjoy coloring, it could be taking 5 minutes to color in a coloring page, or to doodle, or maybe make a phone call to a friend if you're a social kind of person, or playing a round of solitaire. Just anything to get you out of the daily grind and out of doing things that you feel like, oh, I'm supposed to do this, I have to do this, I should do this, and doing something that you're just doing because you want to do it. And then strategy number 5 is to use tools. So we can use other things outside of just ourselves in order to help us accomplish all of these other strategies sometimes more effectively. Music, for instance, is a great tool. You can use it in a couple of different ways. Some people prefer to use soothing music, and and use the music toward developing that relaxation response and causing that to come into play. Other people, when they're stressed, prefer to have a really high energy or really driving music that helps them to work out that stress and work off that excess energy. So again, we're back to making sure that whatever it is personal, that it works for you. If soothing music is your thing, go with soothing music. If soothing music doesn't work for you, don't let somebody tell you that high energy music is not good when you're under stress. If that works for you, that works. Essential oils. Certain essential oils have been demonstrated to induce that relaxation response, to be anxiolytic, which is the fancy word for saying they're anti-anxiety, and to be calming. So using those essential oils, again, we can use to stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system response or the relaxation response. Certain modalities like biofeedback or maybe going to counseling or something like that can be used to help you to more effectively use those reframing techniques and to change your thinking. That's one of those things that sometimes is kind of hard to do on your own. And sometimes just having somebody else or some other tool outside yourself to help redirect your thinking is that little bit of an extra boost that you need. Other modalities like massage, again, to help introduce that relaxation response. Of course, massage also helps to relax those muscles that maybe were extra wound up, again, working to try to fight. So, just to quickly recap, the stress response has 3 phases. We have the alarm phase, the resistance phase, and the exhaustion phase. And we want to use the alarm phase and the resistance phase if necessary to our benefit, and then restore balance again, kind of come back to normal, so that hopefully we don't ever fall into the exhaustion phase in the first place. We want to make sure that we eliminate any unnecessary stressors and maybe reduce any stressors that we can't completely get rid of, but that we can ameliorate a little bit. We want to make sure that whatever strategies we're using, that we've personalized them, so there's something that actually works for us as individuals and not just something that somebody said should work or is supposed to work. And then within that framework of ensuring that whatever strategies we choose, that the specifics are things that work for us, then we're going to use the 5 strategies of calling on the relaxation response, redirecting our thinking so that it's positive, to get moving and use that extra boost of energy and power and use it up and tell the body that, okay, we're done with this, so now that we can move on and get back to normal. We're going to make sure that we have play in our lives to provide some overall balance and keep our bodies from not being in that stress mode and do mode all the time. And finally, we're going to use whatever tools we have at our disposal so that we can make most effective use of all of the other strategies. So I hope that some of you guys have found this useful. I would love to hear any comments of anything that specifics among these strategies, specific ideas, certain ways that you like to move, or certain ways you like to induce the relaxation response, your favorite tools, that kind of thing, that you found have been helpful for you, especially if they're kind of unusual and maybe everybody else hasn't thought of them yet. So, go play, relax, and enjoy.